Hello there, legal eagles. Professor Punzworth here, and today we're jumping into a real courtroom cliffhanger where states are battling the federal government over immigration. That's right. In May 2025, several U.S. states shouted, "Order in the court," and sued the national government. But don't worry, there were no food fights. So why are the states so upset? Well, they say the federal rules on immigration aren't working for their communities. And instead of marching in protest, they marched into court. Let's break this down like a gavel on a desk. In the U.S., we've got two big levels of government, the federal government and the state governments. The federal government makes laws for the whole country, like immigration, the military, and space burrito regulations. Okay, maybe not the burritos, but definitely the rest. States handle local stuff, like schools, roads, and squirrel control. But sometimes the two disagree, and that's when things get court-ordered complicated. When a state sues the federal government, they're basically saying, "Your rules aren't working for us." And then a judge, or several, have to figure out who's right. In this case, the states say national immigration policies are making it hard for them to manage housing, safety, and services near the border. They want more control. But here's where it gets tricky. The Constitution gives most immigration powers to the federal government, not the states. So now we're in a legal limbo. The big question is this: can a state override national immigration rules? Or does the Constitution say, "Nope, this one's not up for debate"? To figure this out, the lawsuits will climb up through the court system, just like a ladder made of legal briefs. And the judges will decide who has the power here. Some cases may land in district courts, others in appeals courts, and maybe even the Supreme Court, America's highest bench. And no, it's not for sitting during basketball. The states argue they're being overwhelmed, that federal immigration policies are too loose, and they're left holding the responsibility bag. And let's be honest, that bag is pretty full. But the federal government says, "Whoa there, state partners, immigration is our job, and if everyone makes their own rules, things could get really messy." This is a classic civic showdown, not with swords or shouting, but with lawyers and paperwork, and lots of very serious briefcases. It's also an example of federalism, the system where power is shared between national and state governments. Sometimes it works great, other times, well, lawsuits happen. No matter how the judges rule, this moment shows how democracy handles disagreement, with laws, with courts, and with people standing up for what they believe is right. So, what have we learned today, my justice-loving geniuses? In 2025, several states sued the federal government over immigration policies they disagreed with. And instead of shouting, they're sorting it out in court. This all comes down to federalism, how power is shared between national and state governments. It's like a team sport with two captains, and sometimes they call different plays. All right, it's time for a quick quiz. Let's see how much you remember before this episode is declared adjourned. Question 1. What does it mean when a state sues the federal government? A. They write a new law. B. They start a court case. C. They ignore the Constitution. D. They vote to secede. Answer. B. They start a court case. Question 2. What part of the U.S. government usually controls immigration? A. Local mayors. B. Each individual state. C. The federal government. D. The Postal Service. Answer. C. The federal government. Question 3. Why are these lawsuits an example of federalism in action? A. They show two branches of government working together. B. They're about space laws. C. They involve state and federal powers clashing. D. They ban silly puns in court. Answer. C. They involve state and federal powers clashing. And now, a question just for you. If you were a leader in your state, what would you do if you disagreed with a national law? Tell us in the comments below. And remember, in a democracy, disagreement doesn't mean disaster. It means dialogue, decisions, and sometimes court dates. Until next time, I'm Professor Punzworth, reminding you to keep your mind sharp, your puns legal, and your government questions coming. If you like this episode, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more curious questions, and hit that bell so you never miss a moment of mind-blowing learning.